United States of America. Now, we're talking about China, the New World Order, the Yuan, oil, and how each country or gang have its own concept, its own goals of the new world that is constantly updating and changing like technology and the latest iPhone. China is one of the major players, mainly because of their technological prowess. They basically fund the entire world with their gadgets and gizmos, including the United States. We're probably one of the biggest buyers of Chinese goods, giving them a form of leverage. China has a strong currency, a strong military. Quietly, most Americans don't realize that they have all the leading components of the New World Order. Strangely enough, the New World Order has always been picked by a committee. They will take it from the Greeks, choose their successors as the Romans, and then the British, and then the Anglo American power. Next was supposed to be, many argue, the United States of Israel, the Greater Israel Project. Unfortunately, that project has been hindered by different American presidents who've had their own mindset on who they wanted to be the successor. Many thought that it should be a European country. Why not France to rule and dominate again? Or how about Poland? Why can't Germany do it again? However, it seems that American consensus has chosen Israel. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the yuan and how it probably will shape the New World Order. Now, if you are the United States and you already embroiled and inflamed in this war in the Middle East, unfortunately, most Americans are not going to be happy with the amount of dollars we've spent here at home, abroad, and even for Israel. However, there's not much we can do about that. We're in the middle of this thing. In fact, we need more money. A lot of our planes have been destroyed, our jets, reconnaissance vehicles, our aircraft carriers. Good Lord, when you look at the bill at the end of the year, child, we're going to be talking about debt. We're going to have add to the debt like you would not have believed, and probably more than any other president in U.S. history. But again, as long as Americans can go to Chili's, stop off at Wingstop, get you some canes, go sit down with your Netflix, screw your beautiful, lovely wife, and watch your beautiful, gorgeous daughter parade around the living room, having a good time, your children, grandchildren in the backyard playing ball, and your dog laying around being a good family member, you could care less. In fact, you're waiting for God to come back and establish his own kingdom, or maybe get resurrected to the heavens, or maybe the rapture. Of course, Americans would think that way. But everybody else in the world is worried right now. The oil is scarce. People can't even go to work. They have to work from home, which is something they've never done before. But the new world is changing, much like deliveries now has become a thing that's regular. Everybody's going to Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub. The world has changed. Many people don't go and shop at the mall like they used to. The world is changing. And what people don't know is the yuan will be one of the biggest casualties. China will be one of the biggest winners and possibly have a checkmate or at least a stalemate with the United States of America. While we were off having a good time in Venezuela and arresting, eating our lemon pepper wings of Nicolas Maduro and securing that little bit of oil and getting ready to bust Iran over the head, unfortunately, didn't go along with the plans. The Strait of Hormuz is closed, and that strategic waterway doesn't look like it can be opened at this time by any one of the European nations, America, or even Israel. That little narrow strait is tightly guarded, and many say it's like a pirate going deep underwater looking for treasure. More than likely, you're going to see a bunch of bones pile up before that strait can get opened, unfortunately. China's yuan, it is the only currency in international system that can process payments to let people go through and safely get their oil where they need to go. Now, what are some of the countries who've respected the yuan already? Pakistan, India, Russia, and several Asian countries, Indonesia. The New World Order is taking its place already. The Philippines. Now, many countries like Europe and America, yeah, we ain't accepting that. We just gonna get this thing open and keep the dollar where it's at. Unfortunately, Americans have not realized that we have a bigger problem than you can believe. You were too busy thinking about your restaurants, how good your life is, how easy it is to pull your credit card and debit card out. You're on top of the world right now, and you look down on people like the movie They Live. Just do it because you're on top right now. But what happens when things shift and the dollar has to be taken back home to America and told to its people that unfortunately we didn't see that coming, the Strait of Hormuz or the China yuan? Then we begin to understand China is a better chess player than anything we've ever seen. Not only are they controlling most of the markets, the things we have in our home, now they're controlling oil and have a yuan dollar that is comparable to the United States dollar. How did this happen? And will this come right back to Trump's desk and demanding answers? Just if you think that this is probably a joke or may not happen in the future, it's been happening already for months now. Processes and payments are being processed in yuan. China is growing ever bolder now and beginning to consider strongly on protecting their assets, being that other oil markets have been seized and other gang members have choked strategic economic holes like the Panama Canal and things like that. China's saying, hey, we can't afford for the Strait of Hormuz or Iran to go down. And so, unfortunately, we're going to have to enter this war for the protection of the greater good. Again, my good friends and constituents who have only looked at Donald Trump's or the Western Hemisphere or Europe's chess pieces, and unbeknownst to you that there were major players that you did not even look at their cards before you placed your wagers. This is what I mean about Americans being so uneducated. If you go to any other think tank, from Chinese to Indian, Sri Lankan, West Asia, East Asia, the global South, everybody else except the Americans are making strategic and intelligent bets, including Europe, who actually, unfortunately, have bet against the United States because the United States did not go in with the proper insurance or securities and did not inform them. So how could Europe place their bets there? To the contrary, Europe is now probably considering making a deal with both sides as everybody else. So let me get this straight. China's yuan is now able to process payments and oil. Wait, I thought this is what countries died over, including Muammar Gaddafi. Ah, what happens when you have somebody who's like Israel, but to do your bidding as China and secure your currency, the Strait of Hormuz, and oil payments? We have just saw a stalemate or a checkmate, and we didn't even see it coming. This is why, strategically, people like myself and others who know what is going on globally in the military with resources, foreign policies, these are the only persons you should listen to, not domestic fools who are boasting about the Democrats or boasting about the Republicans or how strong the United States military is. While the United States military is the strongest and most beautiful military that the world's ever seen, imagine someone who has a machine gun and too close up on someone who has a sword. That machine gun does not hold the same sort of security, leverage, and usefulness as that sword because it's up close. We have just seen up close the new world order begin. Where the chips may fall, we don't know. Who's going to come out on top? We don't know. Stay tuned. We're going to do part 3 tonight. As we just whet your appetite, wait till you hear what is coming.